Senator from Kansas.
Mr. President, what if it was your family in these body bags? What if your wife, your daughter, or your mom were raped, tortured, and killed? What if videos of your baby or your grandchild being massacred were posted all over social media? What if a month had passed and there's been no meaningful action from your ally, the most powerful nation in the world? Mr. President, I stand here today to right this wrong. Today we will show the world that once again America will be there to do justice, to stand up for humanity and ensure Hamas does not become more powerful. As I stand in this chamber, we have the opportunity to send a real message to Iran and its terrorist proxies that we will stop their hatred and evil from spreading. This morning, I rise in support of the bipartisan, House-passed, standalone legislation to provide aid to the people of Israel, our strongest ally in the Middle East, during their ongoing war with Hamas. It's hard to believe that today marks a month since the October 7th savage attacks by the Hamas army of terror on the people of Israel. Hamas unleashed an attack that was worse than animals, killing thousands of Israelis and 36 American citizens. And right now, there are as many as 240 people taken hostage by these savages that only know one language: death and destruction. Right now, there are families of hostages here at the United States Capitol begging for their loved ones to be no longer tortured, for their loved ones to reach safety from the grips of this evil army of terror. Mr. President, time's of the essence. Time is of the essence, and it's imperative that the Senate not delay delivering this crucial aid to Israel another day. A timely military aid package with a unified voice from Congress showing support for Israel will not only add to Israel's stability, it will slow down and hopefully stop the evil plots of Hamas, Iran, and its proxies. Our bill provides military assistance and resource to Israel at the exact spending levels the Biden administration's requested. And I want to emphasize these. These are the exact spending levels President Biden put forth that he agrees Israel needs in this time of war. You can imagine my surprise, the surprise of many, to hear that our commander-in-chief, amid a significant security crisis in the Middle East, has threatened to veto this aid package. Now think about this. Our president is threatening to veto the aid he requested from Congress. With this veto, he would snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. And why? Why, many people are asking? Just because it isn't being leveraged for a $105 billion boondoggle package with another blank check to another unending war in Ukraine. Today, we plan on calling the president's bluff and deliver this critical standalone measure and a bipartisan victory for the White House. We must fast-track this much-needed assistance to one of our staunchest allies, the people of Israel. If this military aid and our strong message of support is not delivered soon, Israel will find itself fighting a war on three fronts. We know that Iran has those capabilities, that through their proxy forces they have the ability to send long-range missiles to Israel from Lebanon and Yemen. Helping our ally who's fighting a war from all angles against Hamas shouldn't require a prolonged battle here in Congress. This is a no-brainer and should have been done yesterday or the week before. Mr. President, the support for this package to Israel is bipartisan and bicameral. Again, our legislation honors the spending levels outlined by the Biden administration for Israel and keeps aid to Israel separate from the other conflicts. What I want to make perfectly clear to every American is that our standalone package is an opportunity to secure a huge bipartisan win for all of humankind and get aid to Israel quickly. The legislation we brought to the floor today ensures that funding for Israel is not coupled with $1 billion of additional monies in aid to Ukraine, Taiwan, or for a mass amnesty program at the border. By passing the standalone spending bill today, the Senate will expedite the arrival of the assistance to Israel after the House and our newly elected Speaker, Mike Johnson, passed with bipartisan support. Now, many of us have concerns about the Ukraine conflict, but until the White House answers the 12 questions posed by the House, including the need for an inspector general and a clear-cut peace strategy, many of us will continue to block sending billions more in dollars to what looks like a stalemate that's already tragically cost over 200,000 lives. Here in the home front, what's even more disheartening for the American people is this White House embrace of open border policies that has allowed almost 10 million, that's right, we're approaching 10 million illegal crossings of our border, making every state a border state and every American less safe. And it's a poke in the eye to every member of Congress who's been to the border and advocated for border security. This president sends us a $105 billion bill, gaslighting the American people with a small fraction of this money going to Israel, and funds to make our border even more porous, more open, with an asylum assist program on steroids. This is a slap in the face and disrespectful for the families who've lost a loved one to the fentanyl crisis, for the communities who are overwhelmed by our open borders, and for every American who feels less and less safe in their own homes every day. This package the White House has given us is the only unserious package in town, jammed with very serious topics, and each of these issues should be debated fully, completely, and individually. But today, on this Senate floor, we have the opportunity to make a difference for the people of Israel and all mankind. The legislation we brought to the floor would provide $14 billion to Israel, including $3.5 billion for foreign military financing and $200 million in diplomatic funding to help protect the U.S. Embassy and personnel. This bill would provide funding for the Iron Dome and Iron Beam defense systems. It'll allow the U.S. to stockpile more weapons in Israel and provides more funding to protect U.S. embassies. Importantly, this bill strips all aid to Gaza, which we know was frequently commandeered by Hamas. All this will make Israel safer and help stop this war. And yes, Israel has the right to defend itself and to defend its people. Our legislation is a real opportunity to find common ground and unite here to help our ally. It passed with 226 bipartisan votes in the House. Let's stop playing politics and pass this standalone bill for Israel right now. The House moved quickly to deliver this legislation to us here in the Senate. We should do the same and get it to the President's desk today. Now today, I'm pleased to be joined by one of my colleagues from the great state of Ohio, Senator Vance, in leading this effort in the Senate and pushing for its passage today, so we don't delay this critical funding for our greatest ally in the Middle East, Israel, and stop the spread of terror. I yield to the gentleman from Ohio.
Well, I appreciate my colleague from Kansas, and I appreciate—
Senator from Ohio.
Thank you, Mr. President.